Hi, and welcome to the program, and thanks for joining us. Our guest owns 23 NFL records. He went from Rookie of the Year to the league's most valuable player. We welcome from South Florida, where the Dolphins open the season on Sunday against the Colts, Dan Marino. Hi, Dan. How you doing?
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Good, good. 15th season in the NFL. You know, through most of your career, the Dolphins always the front runner in the AFC, expected to win the division the last few seasons. This year really doesn't look that way. What do you expect of the Dolphins this year?
Well, actually, last year I expected us to do a little better than we did. Felt like we were a playoff caliber team and maybe didn't achieve the things that we wanted to achieve, you know, towards the end of the season. This year I feel a lot more comfortable about where we are as far as our team is concerned, because last year we had a lot of rookies, a lot of change, new coaching staff. I think everybody's a little more comfortable, a little more consistent with what's going on and what we want to get accomplished. So going into the first game this week, obviously, you know, we feel real good about the season.
You expect to be in the playoffs this year?
Oh, yeah, I expect to be in the playoffs. I think last year we expected to be in the playoffs, and Jimmy's talked about that a lot this camp, you know, to set high goals for ourselves and just see, you know, what we can accomplish. But I believe that we're a team that can definitely get into the playoffs and go far.
All right, you'll be 36 years old on the 15th of September. Happy birthday.
Sure. Thank you.
Last year, an ankle injury kept you out of 3 games. Mentally, we always know where Dan Marino is, but where are you physically at this stage of your career?
Well, the physical part of it, I feel pretty good. Last year, it was kind of a shock to break my ankle in midstream through the season. Really wasn't expecting that, but that has recovered great. I felt pretty healthy after, you know, I came back last season during the second half of the season. This year, I worked a lot in the offseason as far as lifting weights and staying as the best shape as I possibly can. I started working out and getting into the weight room, I mean, a week after the season was over, so I've been doing it for a while this off season. Had a great football summer camp, felt good about the preseason, and as far as health is concerned, I feel great. My arm feels young. My arm feels like I'm 21 years old. My legs don't necessarily feel that way sometimes, but
that's part of the battle. And people don't realize your legs obviously part of the strength in throwing the ball through
Sure.
your arm. You know, last season, first-year coach Jimmy Johnson came in and began an overhaul of the team, the personnel, like he did in Dallas. You always thrived with veteran coach Don Shula, the playbook geared toward veteran players and Don's system. How difficult for you personally was that transition?
Well, I think it's a matter of just being patient. Last year, it wasn't really that difficult. I really enjoyed working for Coach Johnson. I love his philosophy of coaching. He's a guy that has a great work ethic and demands the most out of all of his players, and feels like, you know, that you have to be the best, be on top of your game, working, you know, on the field, off the field, and everything you're doing. The transition was okay for me. The one thing we had to adjust to a little bit is we went through a lot of changes early as far as personnel and different people in different positions, you know, receiver-wise, and as far as the offense was concerned, you know, we maybe weren't as good as we wanted to be early on.
Yeah, now you said you had to be patient. Are you a patient person?
Patience, sometimes yes, most of the time no.
Okay, and so you had to be patient. Are you going to be a little less patient this year?
Well, I think that when I was saying about patience, I mean with some of the rookie people, we went in last year with 2 new running backs that were rookies that never had never had a chance to play. First game they were starting, they'll be back and have a whole season under their belt. So patience from that standpoint. We're changing receivers a lot. You know, Keith Byers started as our tight end last year in the first game. You know, Scott Miller and O.J. McDuffie were the 2 receivers that were starting, and they would change from week to week, so there wasn't the consistency there. So I think that's where the patience had to come in.
All right, Jimmy Johnson quoted recently as saying that he would consider, and he was asked about this, he would consider benching Dan Marino if Marino was having a poor game. I was shocked to see that in print. Of course, he said you'd be right back in there. But I was wondering, would Don Shula have ever said anything like that?
I don't recall him saying that. This is the first time I heard it. But, you know, Jimmy Johnson is the coach of this football team. And if he believes that's the best thing for the team, then I'm sure that that's what he'll do. as far as I'm concerned, I got to get Dan Marino ready to play each and every week and to play for this team to win. And I'll do that, and I'll try to accomplish that every time I go on the field.
I know that Craig Erickson has had a terrific camp. As you get a little older, and you talk about physically, maybe the legs ailing a little bit more, is there a greater fear, Dan, even someone as accomplished as yourself, of being replaced? Does that start to creep in a little bit, whereas before that didn't ever enter your mind?
Well, I don't think it has for me. I know that, you know, when I look around the league, I feel I'm playing at a top level, as good as anybody in the league. With the people that we have and the things that we're doing, I think I can be extremely successful this year, and we can do a lot of great things. I don't really look at it that way. I have a lot of confidence in what I'm doing. I believe in our offense and what we're trying to accomplish, and we're going to do a lot of real good things this year.
Now, you've thrown for more yards and touchdowns than anyone in NFL history, so you've carried the Dolphin franchise, the team, for years. Do you still feel that you can carry this team, or that you have to carry this team?
Well, I don't think it's ever necessary for a quarterback to carry the team totally. I think you have to have a surrounding cast. That's why it's a team game. I think if we have to throw it every down in order to win, I believe we can still do that. I think that we're a team that's going to try to be more balanced, that can run the football to win and run to not turn it over, to control the game, take our chances throwing it. I think we'll continue to do that and try to play solid defense.
But isn't it difficult to go to balance when you have a Dan Marino, when you're at the 40-yard line and you want to get in the end zone? Don't coaches, teams become enamored with, hey, let's take the pass, let's get in there, rather than run off tackle?
Well, we will. We'll take our chances, and we're going to throw. There'll be some games where we're going to throw it a lot more than others, and there'll be games when we're not going to be able to run the ball that well. So we're going to rely on our passing game to help us win. But I think to be consistent and be a team that's going to challenge for the playoffs and go deep into the playoffs and maybe have a chance to win a championship, that you have to run the ball consistently, especially when the other team knows you're going to run it, maybe to run the clock out or control the game, control the line of scrimmage. You have to do that consistently in order to be a good football team.
And last year, in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the first 1,000-yard rusher for the Dolphins since '78, and Delvin Williams. So if you had to guess, overall, do you think you'll run the ball more this year, 50% of the time? Can you give us a percentage, Dan?
Hard to give you a percentage because you never know what the circumstances are during the season and how it plays out. But Kareem is an outstanding young back. I mean, he's very durable. He's one of the guys you can hand it to 20, 30 times a game, and you know he's going to work hard at it. And he had a great year last year. Great athlete. So he's a guy we can definitely depend on. But you never know how things go during the season and what direction your team's going to take. So you just have to be patient, wait and see.
Dan Marino's in South Florida. We're here in Los Angeles, and you know where you are. We'll continue with Dan Marino, who last year, when the Dolphins were inside the red zone, got them into the end zone an NFL best 62% of the time. Up next, by his second year, he was in the Super Bowl. He's still waiting to get back there. Don't go away.
Up Close is brought to you by Original Coors. Taste the one that won, for taste.
It's America's most prestigious beer festival. Who won the gold medal for the best tasting American premium lager? Original Coors. Taste the one that won for taste.
Dear Dave, when I saw Wendy's Smoky Bacon Cheeseburger was back, I said, that sounds good to me. So I got them for the whole firehouse. Some guys especially like the 3 strips of hickory smoked bacon, some the 2 slices of smoked cheddar and savory sauce, and we all agreed that we never had a hotter, juicier, more delicious bacon cheeseburger. Dave, come on by. We'll let you wear a big hat and ring the bell.
Dear Jerry, can I drive the truck?
Come into Wendy's and try our Smoky Bacon Cheeseburger today.
Mike Ditka for 1-800-COLLECT.
Hey, come on, ladies! Hey, get mad! Make believe I just insulted your mama. Or make believe I just traded you. Make believe I just called you collect without using 1-800-COLLECT.
Hey, he could have saved us up to 44% with 1-800-COLLECT.
Stop, guys. I was only kidding. Stop.
1-800-COLLECT. Save up to 44%.
For years, you've heard the debate.
Duracell. Energizer.
Which battery lasts longer?
Duracell.
Recent tests prove that Duracell outlasts Energizer.
Duracell.
Better make it the alkaline battery proven to last longer. Better make it Duracell. Don't miss summer's last blast during the Labor Day sale going on now through Monday at Best Buy. You'll find all TVs, camcorders, major appliances, home audio, and lots more all on sale. But hurry, when the weekend's over, so's the sale. Best Buy's Labor Day sale. Now that's a great idea.
Dolphins and Colts, October of '95. Dan Marino hitting Keith Byers, setting the NFL completions record. Later in the year, he would also set the yardage and touchdown mark. And we are up close with Dan Marino, joining us from South Florida, who in his first year in the league, started in the Pro Bowl, the highest-graded rookie passer of all time. You know, Dan, you don't see anymore, we haven't seen anyway, first-year quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks stepping in their first year right away and being successful. We've had a lot of good quarterbacks come along, Meyer, McNair, Bledsoe. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, I think it's coverages, the sophistication of offenses, and just the way the game is. It just makes it a little more difficult for guys to come in and be successful. For me, I think one of the reasons why I had a very veteran team, I think one of the best things Coach Shula ever did with me is as soon as I came in, he put a lot of pressure on me to be successful right away. As far as learning the playbook in practice and in even preseason games when I was a rookie, he made me call all my own plays. So it made me work a lot harder as far as at night studying the playbook and watching extra film and doing all the things necessary. I had to think about what I had to call during practice. I had to think about what I had to call during the game. And I think nowadays, sometimes the coaching and the way the offenses are, it's so structured that guys don't learn some of the things that they need to learn right away to be successful.
You enjoy, would you rather to this day? I'm not sure what the current arrangement is. Obviously, you can call off plays, but do you call your own plays on a regular basis?
I will change plays sometimes, yeah. Most of the time, the players called, and you would change it at the line of scrimmage, or if personnel is different in the game that the play will not work against, then you would change it. But most of the time, the play comes in from the sideline, and I like it that way. I think it's something I could call my own plays. I think there's a lot of guys, veteran guys in the NFL, that could do that. But with so much substitution and so much pressure on the position of playing quarterback, it makes it real difficult. So I think anytime you can get help, I mean, you always want all the help you can get, and then if you want to change it, then you can change it at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you were the last of those quarterbacks picked to that '83 draft in that first round. Elway, Kelly, Ken O'Brien, Todd Blackledge, Tony Eason. Are you surprised, and you knew this question was coming, are you surprised that no one from this group owns a Super Bowl ring yet?
Yeah, surprised, because there was a lot of, as you know, I mean, history tells you there's been a lot of great quarterbacks from that draft. And, yeah, I am surprised. Hopefully John or I will win one. I'd love to see, obviously I'd love to win one, and maybe John have a chance to win one out of that class. But I am surprised that no one has well, we've had opportunities to win. We just haven't accomplished that.
Have you talked with John Elway about that? You guys ever mentioned that, or is that kind of unspoken?
When we talk, we've talked about it a little bit, but not to the point where, it's a long conversation, something that we go into detail about. But John's, been a friend for years, and I'd love to see him succeed also. Because
it was in your second season when you took the Dolphins to the Super Bowl against the 49ers to get there. I remember it was a great game, ended the Steelers run, your old Pennsylvania stomping grounds, over 400 yards. You had 4 touchdowns in that AFC Championship game. But at that time, do you think you appreciated what an accomplishment it was to make it to the Super Bowl compared to where you are now?
Well, I think there's, it's definitely true that, when you're young and you don't appreciate it as much as you do after you realize you've been in the game so long, how difficult it can be at times to get back to that game. For me, at the time, 1985 was 84 season. I don't think I did appreciate it as much as I would now, simply because I felt we were a good team, and after the game, I thought about it. I said, well, we'll be back next year, the year after, and we lost. I wanted to win the game, but I knew that I would get another chance. And then you look back, 10 years later, and you really haven't had an opportunity. I've been in a couple AFC Championship games, but haven't had a chance to get into that Super Bowl and a chance to win. For 14 years, 13 years. So you do learn to appreciate that game a lot more.
Is it fair to ultimately judge a quarterback by how many Super Bowl rings he's won?
Well, I think from a team standpoint, yeah, it is. A championship standpoint, a guy being in a pressure situation and having an opportunity to win Super Bowls, although there's a lot of great quarterbacks that just don't get that opportunity. A lot of great players that have played and just not lucky enough to be in that right situation with the right team to have that opportunity to win Super Bowls. There are guys that could have won Super Bowls, quarterbacks that just didn't get that chance. So I think to a certain extent, guys should be recognized for the championship rings that they have, and also, you have to look at the guys that haven't had that opportunity but are good enough to win Super Bowls.
Yeah, I mean, I think of a guy like Archie Manning, who never even made it into a playoff game, but played successfully. Now, in 13 career postseason games for you, you've thrown 29 touchdowns. Very impressive. The team's record, though, is 6-7. So is this a case of Dan Marino having to do too much for the Dolphins, or the rest of the team maybe not doing enough?
Well, I think it was a case for a lot of years there with us that we were a good team. A good team that could get into the playoffs and compete, but maybe not good enough to get over that hump to be a team that could challenge to win a championship. We felt a couple times that we were good enough and just came up short a little bit. I don't think it was a matter of, you know, Dan Marino being good enough or with the other people around us. But I think it's just a team effort and always will be, regardless, you know, who the quarterback is or who the other people on the team is. You have to have a group of people that are going to be able to play at that championship level. And I think that we had people that were close, including myself in certain years, but we never really had that chance.
All right, hopefully you'll get that chance. We'll continue with Dan Marino, who's played more games than any other player in Dolphin history. And here's the did you know, Miami hasn't been shut out in a game with Marino at the helm since 1987. We'll look at Dan the family man when we come back. Don't go away.
Music Express, voted #1 by the National Limousine Association, has offices in Los Angeles and on the East Coast. Music Express can handle your corporate needs anywhere in the U.S. and worldwide. And guests of Up Close stay at the Beverly Prescott, L.A.'s premier boutique hotel. Call your travel agent to make reservations at the Beverly Prescott, a Kimpton hotel.
Reedman World Auto Center brings you the Reedman Experience.
The experience you get when you buy a new car or truck at Reedman World Auto Center. An exciting, enjoyable way to buy a new car. An incredible choice of vehicles at Reedman's 150-acre car and truck center. And Reedman's unparalleled customer service. Why have over 1 million customers made Reedman their dealer of choice? See for yourself at Reedman World Auto Center in Langhorne, Pennsylvania.
Reedman, it's an experience you won't soon forget.
Know what Comcast customers can get besides great cable TV? Sprint long distance, and a deal that'll blow you away. Up to 30 minutes of free long-distance calling every month for a year when you order Sprint from Comcast. Not to mention Sprint Sense with dime-a-minute rates. So call Comcast and start talking up a storm. Comcast, everything you connect with.
ESPN's Ride-Along program takes you back to Darlington. Jeff Gordon's dominated the winner's circle, but can he shake hard driving, late charging Mark Martin in the points race? Come along for the ride. The Mountain Dew Southern 500, Sunday at 1 on ESPN.
I'm Reese Davis. Coming up on SportsCenter, the Rocket going for number 21 in Toronto. Ryan Sandberg doing it and doing it well in Chicago. Number 23 being paid well in Chicago. Join Bob Stevens, Larry Beal, and me. SportsCenter, 6:30 Eastern.
But the lowest point in my time when I left Betty Ford Center on my own will, and I wound up somewhere in this state of California sleeping in a dumpster because I had no money in my pocket.
He said it on Up Close. Tune in on Friday. Listen to what former Super Bowl MVP Jim Plunkett has to say about the NFL today and in his day. When we come back, we'll continue with Dan Marino. If he were guaranteed a Super Bowl win but had to leave Miami, would he take that offer?
So? You have to let more folks know about us.
Dad, we need a new location. Every band has a place.
Now check this out.
Dad, there's a space.
See? This is our new location.
This is the internet.
Whoa.
475 people visited our gallery on our website last night.
I told you, location is everything.
Experience the art of doing business on the internet with the most powerful network in the world.
So what are you, a psychic?
I'm a palm reader.
Does that mean you can tell the future, or is that just psychic?
I can tell your future by reading your palm.
Perfect! See, what we want to know is if Lisa Leslie is going to help the LA Sparks win the first WNBA championship. What does that mean?
No, nothing.
What is that?
I don't know. I had never read a cardboard palm before.
How about Jamila, Defensive Player of the Year?
Well, I see the same thing here, too.
What?
Cardboard bomb.
All right, girls, we gotta find a psychic.
I am the cable boy.
We copy? Roger.
I'm the lifeline between the sidelines and the booth. Yeah. Rule number 1. 1.1 yards between you and the coach. Coach and I, yeah, we hang out. We develop a special bond with the coach, shorthand. Sometimes he'll turn to me and say, "Slack, moron!" That means he needs a bit more cable. Without me, the coach could trip. He could die.
College football on ESPN 2.
We're back with Dan Marino, who with his wife Claire is a college sweetheart, an active member in a number of charities, including the Dan Marino Foundation, Make-A-Wish Foundation. Your charity work, Dan, a heavy emphasis on children. I know you and Claire have 4 children of your own. Why kids such a priority in your charity work?
Well, I think anytime you can get an opportunity to help out in your community, you should. And Claire and I have 4 children, and we want to be able to help other kids in the community. We had son Michael had some problems when he was young. He was diagnosed with autism, and I think for that reason we pretty much started the foundation trying to find ways to help people with the problem of autism and just learning disabilities, and then it kind of spilled over into other avenues as far as helping charities in South Florida, children's charities. So, and I think for an athlete, anytime that you're in a position where you work with companies and you do things in the community, you got to try to be able to give back somehow. And I think that's something that we've done pretty well with down here in South Florida.
Yeah, let's talk about Michael, who at age 2 was diagnosed with autism, and I guess it's about 400,000 people in the United States have the disorder. He's 9 years old now. How is he doing?
He's doing terrific, actually. I think the key factor was with Michael is, we were able to diagnose him with the problem early on, and he got outstanding treatment and schooling and all the things that were necessary for him to improve over time. And he's doing terrific now. He's mainstreamed into regular school with his brothers. He's 9 years old. Just if you were to walk in a room with him and other boys, you really wouldn't be able to tell the difference as far as Michael having a problem with autism. And some doctors have told me actually that if they had to diagnose him now, they wouldn't diagnose him with this problem. But we've been very fortunate. There are a lot of people out there that have children. There's different levels of this disorder. So we've been blessed from the standpoint of Michael has been very high functioning, and I think it has to do with the fact that when he was 2 years old, we diagnosed him early, and he got a lot of exceptional treatment, and we were able to prolong this over a period of time, and now he's doing great.
Yeah, no, that's encouraging. In fact, I know you and your wife went to the state capitol in an effort to raise funds and an awareness for autistic children. Are you happy with the kind of response you received?
Well, actually, we wanted to start a program that we want to try to take statewide, which is it's a TIP program. We went to Tallahassee to try to raise some money for this, and we were very successful, and it's working out good right now. It's actually a pilot program to help children from the ages 3 to 5 to see how they progress with the right therapy and the right things being done as far as treatment, of the disorder of autism and the different things that are involved with this. And it's going to be a year-long process, but hopefully we'll be going back and try to expand this thing around the state.
Yeah, well, and you've done a good job expanding to the Dan Marino Foundation. You've put together a book during the last year or so, First and Goal, recently published, and an ode to your father. You were his only son, despite having to drive a truck for a living and work hard. He was always there for you when you needed him. And I wondered in what ways are you most like your father with your own children?
Well, I wish I could be half the dad he was when growing up. I think that as far as I'm concerned, I think what I learned from my father is just try to give your kids as much love as you possibly can, and an opportunity to do well and succeed in their life, and to be there for them, when you need them. My life is a lot different than what my father's was when I was growing up and what he had went through. I mean, he was a guy that worked every day and sometimes had a second job on the weekends to help get his family through, the things that you go through. So it's a lot different from that standpoint. But for me, he's my best friend, and he's a guy that really was very critical and helping me become the person I am right now.
That's right. And before the break, real quick, because I don't want to leave your mom out, and it's mentioned in the book that your mom says that you didn't watch a lot of TV, but when you watched Lassie that you cried growing up. Is that true?
Yeah, that's what she tells me. I was crying for Lassie. I do remember watching Lassie. I don't know about the crying part, but I'm sure, you know, you can get a little emotional at times over Lassie.
Okay, I didn't know it touched you that well. We'll send you some videotapes of Lassie. They usually have happy endings, Dan. I remember those always have happy. All right, we'll be back with Dan Marino. We'll ask the question, is he closer or further away from realizing that Super Bowl dream? We're up close with Dan Marino. Stay with us. I know you will.
Up Close is brought to you by the owners, managers, and crew who proudly call the McDonald's in your neighborhood.
Summer is a great time for McDonald's Chicken McNuggets. You'll see them everywhere, at the beach, on a picnic, at a party. Get them in groups of 6 for 99 cents. 9 for $1.59. Or 20 for $2.99. So hurry on down and get in on this summertime McNugget deal. Only at my McDonald's.
You're a judge at America's most prestigious beer competition. You can't see anything. Can't see the labels. All you've got to go on is taste. So who wins the gold medal for best tasting American premium lager? Original Coors. Close your eyes and taste the one that won for taste. Original Coors.
It's the WNBA semifinals. At 7:30, it's the Charlotte Sting versus the Houston Comets. Then at 9:30, the New York Liberty take on the Phoenix Mercury. Charlotte versus Houston at 7:30, New York versus Phoenix at 9:30. The WNBA semifinals on ESPN.
November of '95, Dolphins and Colts. Dan Marino hitting Keith Byers, breaking Fran Tarkenton's all-time NFL touchdown record, the third league record set during the season. And we're up close with Dan Marino getting ready for the regular season on Sunday with the Colts and the Dolphins. Of all your records, Dan, your accomplishments, of which are you most proud?
Well, I think that for me, it's probably the touchdowns. Because you're scoring points, obviously, for your team, helping your team win. And the consecutive games played, you know, the consistency factor of playing 145 starts in a row without missing a game, that's something I'm very proud of also, because of the fact that, you know, your team can rely on you each and every week to be there as their quarterback.
Yeah, your 200th game, you'll be playing on Sunday, quite a milestone. And I know you're Mr. Miami. You've been fortunate to play your entire career with one team, and I know you've settled into South Florida. But hypothetically, if someone could guarantee you that you'd win a Super Bowl with another team this year, would you take that deal?
Maybe. But I really believe that we're on the right track here. I don't want to play anywhere else. I want to continue to play in Miami. I want to finish my career here, and I want to finish it up on a winning note and being with you know, a team that's always going to be competitive. And I think we'll be, you know, we're at that point now, and we'll be at that point in the future. To trade living here and playing for the Dolphins to go 1 year to win a Super Bowl, I don't think I'd do it, but maybe I would.
It'll be tempting. Your contract runs through 1999. Is it realistic that is the point at which you will retire? I mean, have you thought about that?
I haven't really thought about retiring because I don't think I'm at the point where I want to, so there's no reason really to think about it. I think that for me, I enjoy everything about what I'm doing. I love playing the game. I love being out on the practice field, watching the films, just, you know, being the quarterback of the Dolphins. I really enjoy everything about it. I love the competition. Sunday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, being ready to be the quarterback for your team. You know, when all the pressure's on, everything about that I enjoy. So I don't want it to end. I know that it'll end someday, that, you know, I'm not going to be able to be the Dolphin quarterback forever. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think about the retirement aspect of it. I'm taking it 1 year at a time and going out there and playing as hard as I can every opportunity I get.
All right, well, we've enjoyed watching you over the years. Keep up the good work. Good luck Sunday and this season, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks, Chris.
I appreciate your time. Dan Marino, the Dolphins, we appreciate him being with us here on Up Close. Join us on Friday. We'll talk with Jim Plunkett, former Super Bowl MVP. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.